Hey there. Welcome back. Another race day, another video. This is going to be a two-part video. The first one is going to be the 50 plus, and the second part is going to be the 40 plus. So, in this race, the 50 plus, uh, we had a team plan, and that was to help our teammate Bart Clifford win. This is his hometown race, and it means a lot to him for a variety of reasons. One of which is a race that he used to always go to with his daughter, who passed away a few years back. So we have our entire team here to help deliver him to the line, so to speak. So the race itself was, pretty active. Um, Lots of attacks. Had to do quite a bit of work to bring dangerous breaks back. Um, I had John Slover, John Lance, Brad Decker, uh, Danny Rondon, Billy, Billy Mercier, Patrick Fetzer, and I think we had Billy Wayne was also a guest rider with us, and so we had quite a few guys, to get to work when we needed to. So pretty much any major move that went up the road, we were either in it or we brought it back immediately. There was one dangerous move that got away with 4 laps to go, but Patrick was in that break. So sorry if there was a break in the audio. I had no idea what happened, just froze and stopped working. So hopefully I got it back working. So there's Bart to my left there with the state champ kit and his cute little arrow socks. He was prepared for this race. That's Johnny Slover in front of him. And Bart was very diligent to stay towards the front. And my job was to kind of keep my powder dry as much as I can and do a lead out on the last lap. And you can see the remnants of that breakaway in front of us as we're pulling it back right now. I did have to do quite a bit of work early on in this race because there were just way too many attacks for all of our guys to cover. And I did tell Bart that if I had to, I'd lay it down. So there was quite a few breaks that we had to all go to work and bring back. So that's Chris Hahn, Patrick Brady. We brought them back. And then there's one small group in front of us, and we brought them back. And now we're all coming back together for the last few laps. There's Danny Rondon. So, pretty much at this point, when there's just a couple laps left, you got to shut down everything. Series Cycling was the home. They're the host team. They were also very keen to get their breakaway guy, Patrick Voss, who is very active and did a lot of attacking, or John Davis, who's their sprinter. And John's a very, very fast sprinter. he won this a few times, and again, I think he won it last year as well, beating Bart uh, in the final sprint. So Steve Remy was also a guy who has been winning a lot of races this year. Um, he was definitely one of the guys that we were worried about as when it comes down to a sprint. So, all you can do is get Bart to the right spot. Hopefully, he's got the goods to get the job done, and then it's ultimately up to him. I don't think that we had the firepower in this race to do a full lead out. So we were going to kind of key off of serious cycling because it really looked like they were serious and creative blue looked like they were going to be the ones that were going to do a lead out. So we were going to kind of key off of them. I just want to make sure I got Bart in position. And then when John and Steve Remy attack, we also had Ryan Doris, who's also a very fast sprinter in this race. So there was quite a few riders that were going to be a pretty serious threat. So I thought best case scenario for Bart is we get him into this final turn and some guys will jump early and then he'll get a good lead out because it's a long headwind sprint. It's like I want to say it's like 300 plus meters to the line from the final corner. And usually everybody goes too early. And if they go too early, then you get passed right at the line and it's just frustrating. So you have to time it just right. That was John Lance there. He did a good dig to help bring a break back. So everybody did their job today. It was actually a perfect team effort on all parts. So I'm just staying as close to the front as I can without being on the front because I want to save my legs for that last dig. And Bart is just going to be very diligent and ride as close to the front as he can. And I know that right now he's right behind me because we've been communicating. So there's Patrick. I think we're going into Bell Lap here. It's starting to get swarmed a little bit, but I know it's a long lap. This is the backside of the course here. This was more of a tailwind section. That's Patrick Boss in front of me right there. He's a dangerous, dangerous guy when he gets off in a break. He's got that big engine that can drive a break if he gets with the right guys. That's Brett Clare and a couple other guys that had just kind of slipped off. And right now we're going into Bell Lap. And Bart's communicating with me. He's right behind me, so I'm just kind of watching to see who's going to do the full lap lead out here. And I can see Creative Blue is setting themselves up right on the front there. So we just caught Ludo. He was off the front. Chris Hahn had just taken the $200 Prix. Starting to get a little pinched here. I was a little worried that we might get boxed. I wouldn't be able to get Bart out, but it picks up on the backside. I'm able to move him back up into position. Eef, tight. I don't think this is Bell App. I apologize. I think it's going into Bell App. because I it was a lot more strung out on Bell Lap than this. Yeah, because Bart's in front of me, and on Bell Lap he's behind me, so we're not quite to Bell Lap yet. But I'm trying to get up there to get in front of him. It's just a little tight. There's Anthony Freeman. He ends up getting second. No, sorry, he gets third. Scott Cox gets second. That's Scott just to my left there. Number 510. He ends up getting second. And then Bart ends up winning. Spoiler alert, but we do our job and get him in the right spot, and he comes through with the goods. That's all you can ask. I'm actually in a good spot here now. I'm behind the right guys. Problem is Bart's on the outside and I'm on the inside, so we've got to try to connect with each other. I'm just going to stay right behind Scott here. I wasn't sure if I kind of figured out that Scott was going to be the guy that was going to be sprinting, not Steve, because Scott was always behind Steve and Steve was doing a lot of work. Yeah, so now I'm right behind there, and then Bart's going to slide right in behind me as we make this corner, and he lets me know that he's there. So if these guys aren't going to go full gas into the final turn, then I'm going to take over, and that's what I'm going to do. That was going to be my plan. But as it worked out, that they did a full gas lead out. Um, it's kind of Ryan's trying to kind of barge in on me there. Gave him a little bit of a shoulder just to create some space because I this is my real estate and I'm not going to give it up. And then here goes Steve. He starts his sprint early, so I'm just going to slot in right behind him. And then he lets Rob Campila slide in behind Steve, which is actually okay for him because that's one extra body. And Rob punches a good. I kind of slide into the inside there so I don't get dive bombed. And then now it's just all about getting to this final turn. And Steve's doing a full gas lead out. Um, I was waiting to jump, but I didn't have to. So I'm going to wait until we make this turn. And then I was going to jump early and just kind of lead it out. And hopefully some guys will jump early. So I start my lead out. And as soon as I do that, Scott and John Davis take off, and Bart's just right with him. So he gets the perfect lead out, and he comes by him just before the line, and then takes the win, which is a really good feeling. Everything kind of comes together when you make a plan. I just kind of roll across here just because I'm racing the 40 plus, which we're gonna switch right over into right now. And I think I just pretty much recorded the last lap of the 40 plus. So yeah, here we are in the 40 plus. We're going into Bell Lap. Um, what happened in this race was there was a break of five that broke off pretty much right from the gun on the second lap. Um, it took me a good half of this race to get my legs back because it was kind of cold and chilly. And we raced like 2 hours after our first race. And so my legs were really tight. And those guys went full gas from the gun. And I got halfway across to them and then I just popped. And I was hoping that the field would chase him down, but I didn't realize that almost every major team was represented in that move. So they had John Garbo, Mike Shanafelt from Sirius, Eric Anderson from Methods to Winning, um, shoot, I forget his name. Anyways, there was five guys up the road. So now we're sprinting for fifth or sixth place. I wasn't going to sprint, but I thought, hey, you know what? It's good practice. Why not? Because there's going to be some big races coming up, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, when it comes down to my turn to actually try to sprint, it's really good, practice to. But this race, for a sprint for sixth place, this was just absolutely crazy. Everybody was just fighting like it was the world championships. So I'm a little far back here. Um, there's Charles Hogan in front of me. So I'm gonna just shoot up the side here and get up behind the methods to winning guys. I got Rasan Bahati and Sharon Smith, and it's just a good place. That's where the lead out's gonna be. Steve Remy's up there. Um, it's the tip of the spear, so I just kind of slot in here, move up the left. Sure, Rasan jumps early, and Bart goes after him because it creates a little bit of a gap, and Sharon lets it open up. So then when Sharon punches it, when Mike Easter goes by, Sharon punches it really hard. So there goes Bart, and then you're gonna see Mike Easter. There's Mike Easter, and when Mike goes, Sharon goes, and that kind of was left a big little gap that I had to close. And at this point, my second race, my legs were pretty much shot. So um, I get up on the wheels, but I just have nothing left to sprint. Would have been nice to have fresh legs because this would have been just a perfect lead out. I'm not saying I would have come around these guys, but it would have been fun to have fresh legs because look at this. Like, I'm on Sharon and Easter. I just, right now, I'm just like dying a thousand deaths, just trying to keep it going as much as I can. So I end up getting ninth on the day. So all good day racing, much fun.